¿Qué pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. In today's video, we're doing the NBA 2K roster update awards of 2022. This would be the players that got the biggest changes and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to give you every single award in this video. Before this video starts, if you like roster updates, player ratings, and all that kind of stuff, please join the pack and subscribe. I do it every single day. I would love to have you in 2023. Let's get it, man. Here are the awards. The MVP. This is pretty straightforward. Who is the highest rated player in the NBA? Then it is most improved player. This is the player that got the highest upgraded change from NBA 2K22 in January to NBA 2K23 in December. Then you have the most unimproved player. The same thing, but downgraded. Then you have Rookie of the Year. This is going to be of 2022 and 2023 rookies who has the highest rating. Then you have Defensive Player of the Year based off of the interior defense and perimeter defensive stats, who is the best defender in basketball. Then we have the most underrated player. This is a player that has a rating that is not indicative of how good they are as a player. Then we're going to have the most overrated player. This is the player that has a rating way too high compared to their actual skill in the NBA. Then we have Comeback Player of the Year. This is a player that was really good and then started to go down in 2022, but then has come back up and rised again. And finally, we're going to have the biggest surprise rating-wise of 2022. These are the awards. Let's go to the very first one. The MVP of the NBA of the year 2022 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Look, there's a lot of players in the NBA that have a 96 overall. LeBron, Jokic, Embiid, a lot of players. But only one is king right now, and that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not only of his amazing offensive scoring and consistent, efficient scoring, but it's the defense that is supreme over everybody else. You can give awards to whoever you want, but there's no doubt that every single year, no one wants to face this man right here because there's no one in the league that can stop him. He is the best in the NBA. He's an NBA champion. He is different right now. And when healthy and when his team is healthy, he wins NBA championships. Let's see if they can do it again this year with a healthy team. For the Orlando Magic, for most improved player of the year, it is Bol with a +9 for the year from a 71 to 80 overall rating. Bol is such a fascinating case. When he was on the Denver Nuggets, he was not being given a chance. There was so many highlights of the Denver Nuggets playing him in trash minutes, and he would play in the last 5 minutes in the game, and then those 5 minutes he'd get like 5 points, 2 blocks, and 7 rebounds. And people would be like, man, Bol could low-key be a bucket if they actually played him. But the Nuggets never did. Then we see the Magic not only pick him up, but make him a starter. Averaging around 25 minutes per game, Bol has completely transformed his game. He is extremely efficient, even with a lot of minutes in the NBA. He's rebounding well, and he's a good defender. He is going to be scary. In his first real season in the NBA, he's doing a very good job entering the 80 overall club. Just wait till Bol gets a real chance and a bigger green light and more confidence. Who knows how much his rating is going to rise. It's funny because we all knew he had potential, but he's really showing out this year. I'm very happy for him. For the most unimproved player of the year, we have 3 people that are tied. The first one is Ben Simmons. Look, Ben Simmons is unfair because at the start of the year, he was an 84 overall and is now entering the year as a 79. But you could argue that his rating should have been going up lately. His defense has been elite and his slashing has always been good. That's all the Brooklyn Nets have needed from Ben Simmons. There's no denying that Ben Simmons has struggled to do anything besides playmake, defense, and inside scoring. The thing is, his rate of scoring is really low, and he has no offensive game besides just driving. So he's a weird case. He's still very clearly a good player, but not an 84 overall as he used to be. The next player is Dennis Schroeder, -5 from an 80 overall club member to a 75 overall. From going to the Celtics to going to the Rockets, now back to the Lakers, he's been all over the NBA, clearly regressing at a really fast rate, which is sad because he was a 19-point per game scorer in OKC, a 19-point per game scorer in Atlanta, and an important piece to the Lakers in 2021. It's sad to see his fall from grace back to the Lakers, just being super inefficient and not playing well at all. That could change. He's getting a bigger role with the Lakers now, and they're actually starting him, I believe. But there's no doubt that this year has been a massive slowdown year for Dennis Schroeder. We hope to see him back next year. The last player with the biggest downgrade is Pat Connaughton with a -5. Pat Connaughton went from a 10-point per game scorer in 2022 with the Milwaukee Bucks being one of their best players in the 80 overall club to slowing down aggressively. Now, Pat Connaughton has always been around this area of an 80 to a 75. The thing is, he's mostly been a role player, so that's what happens with role players, but it's a clear downgrade that does deserve to be talked about for most unimproved of the year. For Rookie of the Year, we have Evan Mobley, 85 overall. There's a lot of players you could say, like Cade Cunningham, current Rookie of the Year candidate, Paolo Banchero. There's a lot of guys, but from last year into this year, of everyone that's been a rookie throughout 2022, Evan Mobley has been the best player. He has been a defensive force. He's been an integral part of the success of the Cavaliers this season, being one of the best teams in the NBA. He shocked everyone with how good he is. With getting comparisons of Tim Duncan, it's really exciting to see Evan Mobley's growth, and if he continues to do so, the sky is the limit, and we could be talking about from a Rookie of the Year candidate to a All-NBA candidate really quickly. With Defensive Player of the Year, it goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is the only player in the NBA that has perimeter defense in A+ and interior defense in A+. Look, Defensive Player of the Year is the same thing as MVP with Giannis. You could give it to a lot of people that have conversations, but no one has a more clear-cut argument in the NBA every single season than Giannis as Defensive Player of the Year. There's a reason he's won it before. He is a great defender under the basket because of his strength and length, and his perimeter defense is elite because of his strength and how fast he is. It is so impressive how good he has been on both ends of the floor, and there's a reason why we consider him one of the greatest of all time already. He is the Defensive Player of the Year according to 2K. Most underrated player of the year goes to Anthony Simons. We have said a lot of players this year that have been underrated, for example, Russell Westbrook, but no one has been a bigger shout out than Anthony Simons. This year, Anthony Simons has averaged 22 points per game while Damian Lillard has been on the court. He's averaged 4 assists on 2 turnovers and 38% from the 3-point line. He has been so damn good. Some people thought it was a fluke and that there were Mickey Mouse numbers because Damian Lillard was injured, but we go into the next season and Anthony Simons is still doing it with Damian Lillard on the floor. It is impressive. He has been an 84 overall. You should argue he should be an 86 overall, but Anthony Simons was for the most of the season a 79 overall. So for the entirety of the season, no one was more underrated than Anthony Simons through a whole year. Still though, he's at a much better rating today, but throughout an entire season, no one was disrespected more than this man. For most overrated player of the year, it goes to Rudy Gobert. There were other players that maybe could have had the conversation, but no one has got more votes than Rudy Gobert. He's an 85 overall, which to be fair, as of today, probably is a little more fair. But for the entire season, he was averaging an 89 rating. He was considered one of the best players in the NBA and centers in the NBA. Listen, what he does basketball-wise is rebound and play defense. And even though that is essential, there's a lot of players in the NBA that do that. And maybe he does it better than anybody else, but his offensive game is non-existent. And in an NBA where they need you to score, at least shoot threes, and he can't even do either under the basket or shoot threes, not even be a lob threat, his game has been regressing, and it's being highlighted extremely on the Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert still has some things to do in this NBA, and he still has some positives, but there's no doubt that a 90 overall type of player is not what Rudy Gobert is anymore. He was the most overrated player, and it proves that because he's an 85 overall now. For Comeback Player of the Year, it is Anthony Davis. Now, this award goes to a player that has been a high rating. They go down and then they go back up. A perfect example was Dwight Howard when he joined the Lakers again and did very well. This is Anthony Davis's comeback here. He was so good, but injuries really started to slow him down. And when he was playing, his efficiency was horrendous. Well, when he came back this season, Darvin Ham was like, why don't we just give Anthony Davis the ball into the basket over and over again? And Anthony Davis was looking like an MVP candidate. When Anthony Davis is healthy, you could argue he should be a 97, 96 overall type of player. That being said, the issue with Anthony Davis is that he's always injured. But ignoring injuries, he's had an amazing comeback in terms of the games that he has played. He is the most comeback player of the year, and nobody else is really even close. Congratulations, Anthony Davis. And the final one, which is mostly a popularity contest, is the biggest surprise of the year, and that's Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen was a 78 overall last year with Cleveland. He was only averaging 15 points per game. His efficiency was okay for a power forward. Nothing to be excited about with Lauri Markkanen. Now jump to this season where he's averaging 24 points per game, 8 rebounds, on 53% from the field and 43% from 3, being the green light player on the Utah Jazz. No one could have ever predicted this. This is the most shocker upgrade of a player in one season that I think I've ever seen, especially because you could argue this is a comeback season compared to this 2019 Bulls season. But the Bulls, they were bad. This Utah Jazz team is actually winning games. So Lauri Markkanen with the biggest surprise I've ever seen in a rating. And you could even argue if this team continues to win, the rating could go up. Lauri Markkanen wins most surprising player of the year rating wise. Those are all the awards for today's show. What do you guys think about the awards? Do you think someone was snubbed? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys in 2023.